So good afternoon, delegates and invitees. So now let me introduce the chair of the session, Dr. T.N. Singh. He's a professor at the Department of Earth Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Dr. Singh's area expertise is geomechanics, slope stability, natural hazard and blasting. He has published more than 350 research papers in different journals of repute and guided 40 PhD students. He was Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapith, Varanasi from 2018 to 2021. Welcome, Professor T.N. Singh. And now we have the co-chair of the session, Dr. Vinod Srinivasan. He is an assistant professor at National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, Surathkal. He has over 6 years of postdoctoral experiences related to rock mechanics and engineering geology with focus on unconventional energy resources and their geomechanics. He has project experience in mining engineering on microseismic monitoring of induced seismicity for slope stability and modeling subsidence behavior and strata control prediction in deep coal mines. Postdoctoral fellow between 2015 to 2027 at Indian Institute of Technology, ISM Dundee, Bombay. Recipient of National Postdoctoral Fellowship, Dr. Vinod Srinivasan, for this to co-chair the session. Now I'll hand over the mic to chair and co-chair. Dr. Vinod is having a resume of Professor Ghosh.
Yeah.
Please,
thank you. Thank you, Dr. Raghavir Rao and other dignitaries over here. Honorable chair of the session, Dr. Professor T.N. Singh, who is my mentor for my postdoc fellow. And I'm pretty excited to be the co-chair for the session along with him. And I welcome everyone over here for the 7th International Conference on Recent Advances in Geotechnical Earthquake Engineering and Soil Dynamics. So for the technical session 3 on Hall C, the special lecture, first lecture will be given by Professor Priyanka Ghosh, Professor of Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Kanpur, on the topic seismic stability of slopes reinforced with microfiles and numerical study. And giving an introduction about Professor Ghosh, Dr. Priyanka Ghosh is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Kanpur. After completion of PhD from IISc Bangalore in 2005, he served as a faculty member at BITS Pilani, IIT Kharagpur and IIT Kanpur. His primary research focus is in computational and experimental geomechanics and in particular analysis of foundations, ground anchors, retaining structures, stability of slopes, vibration isolation, and geopolymers. He is a recipient of several awards like IEA Young Engineers Award by the Institute of Engineers India, Outstanding Investigator Award by International Association for Computer Methods and Advances in Geomechanics. Warm welcome to Professor Ghosh, sir. Sir, now with the permission of chair, I invite Professor Priyanka Ghosh from IIT Kanpur to have a special lecture. Now the floor is to you, sir.
Thank you. So, only I request to just please a second. Yes. I only request to all the speakers that we should abide by the times, because once one session is delayed, this other will be further delayed. So I don't want that someone will claim that being a chair I have not informed. And I know that P. Ghosh is a very eminent speaker, and such kind of a speaker can control the time and deliver the things what they wanted. So with this request, I welcome again Professor Ghosh and request that you should deliver your lecture. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So thank you very much, Professor T.N. Singh and Professor Vinod Srinivasan for such a nice introduction. And first of all, I must thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to present our work in this conference. I know that how difficult it is to organize online conference, and I'm extremely grateful to the organizers. With this, so myself, Priyanka Ghosh, from IIT Kanpur. So today I'm going to present our work on the seismic stability of slopes reinforced with micropiles, a numerical study basically. So before going to the details of the presentation, so I would like to say this is the initiation of such work. I mean, we are still working on that. So the first model was ready. So we thought to put that thing in the conference. So, so it is, I mean, the improvement, development, and all those things are still happening. So therefore, as you can see in the presentation, that there are several assumptions. Based on that, we have done this work, and gradually we are trying to release or remove these assumptions in the subsequent improvement. So this is briefly my research interest. So I mainly work in theoretical and experimental geomechanics. So today I am going to focus on this topic, the slope stability, which is the slope is reinforced with micropiles. Now, why this topic? What has motivated us to work on this topic? Yeah. So the stability analysis of natural and human-made slopes under seismic condition remains a challenging task in the field of geotechnical engineering. So as we all know, a lot of researchers are working on the slope stability, and we know that the landslide, slope failure, embankment failure. So these are the part and parcels of a geotechnical engineer, right? The failure of slopes under any condition may lead to tremendous loss to the society, which advocates for improving the soil to enhance the stability of slopes. Out of various ground improvement techniques, there are several, like as you know, that geosynthetic reinforced ground improvement techniques, or maybe chemical stabilization based ground improvement techniques. There are several techniques, right? Now, micropiles can be adapted to enhance the stability of such slopes. So let's see how we can place it and how we can get the enhancement in the stability. So micropiles are generally found to be versatile for serving various functions, such as seismic retrofitting and underpinning. The stability of slopes is expected to get improved with the use of micropiles, but the study on the effect of seismicity on the stability of micropile reinforced slope is limited. So that actually has motivated us to initiate this work. Now coming to the problem definition and objectives of the present work. So the problem definition is a finite slope of height h and inclination I, reinforced with vertical as well as inclined micropiles, is considered under static and seismic conditions. The mechanical properties of soil include the angle of internal friction of soil, cohesion, and unit weight of soil. So therefore, we considered both C and phi, both parameters. It is not purely cohesive soil slope, rather it is having both present in the soil. The limit equilibrium method, so we know that there are several numerical techniques by which we can solve or we can obtain the stability of slope. However, we have used limit equilibrium method for this study, coupled with original pseudodynamic approach, which was originally proposed by Steedman and Zeng in 1990. And later, several researchers worked on that and improved the methodology. So these two things are adapted in the analysis. The slip surface is reasonably assumed to be circular, which passes through the toe of the slope. So these are all, we are assuming that only the slope is getting failed through the toe failure. Okay, the main objective is to determine the factor of safety of the slope reinforced with micropiles and under both static and seismic conditions. So this is the basic objective of the present. Now, coming to the failure mechanism, which was adapted for this study, and the associated forces for both vertical micropile and inclined micropile. Here you can see this is the finite slope, and this is the say slope surface. Slip surface, which is reasonably circular, we assumed. And this is the micropile. This is the vertical micropile, and in this figure, this is the inclined micropile. And the seismic inertia forces, like vertical and horizontal seismic inertia forces, are calculated based on original pseudodynamic analysis. And we considered the wave velocities like shear wave velocity and primary wave velocity. And also we considered the amplification of the seismic activities from the base of the slope to the top. Now we consider the slope is resting. So these are the assumptions. We are coming to the assumptions part. So this slope is resting on a reasonably rigid layer, and the height of the slope is h, capital H. This is also finite. Now coming to the assumptions, as I told you, so this is the initial work we started. So therefore, to start with something, so we need to have a little more assumptions, and we are working on the relaxation of these assumptions in the subsequent works. So the shear modulus of soil is assumed to be constant throughout the height of the slope. The length of micropiles is considered to be uniform and always intersects the slip surface. The resistance of the pile cap is not considered in the analysis, and the micropile is assumed to be a fixed head pile. Location of the micropile is assumed at the top of the slope. Allowable displacement at the ground line is assumed 10% of the pile diameter for the computation of lateral capacity, because we need to find out, or need to obtain the capacity of the micropile, which will be included in the analysis. So therefore, we need to assume something regarding the serviceability of the micropiles. The micropile is assumed to be driven by type A driven. Now coming to the methodology. So we calculate the seismic accelerations based on the OPT approach proposed by Steedman and Zeng in 1990. So we considered the horizontal acceleration through this expression and the vertical acceleration through this expression. Now here, if we remove the amplification factor FA, or if we remove the time dependency of the wave, so it will be boiling down to the pseudostatic approach, which is quite well known in the community, right? So through these two equations, we calculated the horizontal and vertical seismic accelerations, and which were included in the analysis. Now coming to the stability analysis with vertical micropiles. So the detailed derivations I am not going to show here. That is available in the paper. So interested people can see or can refer the paper for getting the derivations. However, by considering the equilibrium of forces, the factor of safety can be expressed by this expression, where you are having the soil resistance, you are having the micropile resistance, and you are having the seismic forces, inertia forces, and the weight of the soil chunk or the soil wedge, which will be disturbing the slope stability. Now coming to the inclined micropiles, though everything is remaining same, only thing is that the lateral calculation of the lateral force in the inclined micropiles is a bit different. So that we have taken from Murthy and Subbarao 1995 paper, and based on that we determined the lateral capacity of the micropile, and then after getting the reasonable expression for P axial and P lateral for the micropiles, then the same equation, whatever I have just shown in the previous slide for the vertical micropiles. So by calculating the values, suitable values for the inclined micropiles, we can use the previous expression for getting the factor of safety. Now coming to the results part. So this is the range of input parameters used in the study, which are given in this table. So I mean, this table is basically giving us the parametric study or the library of the parametric study. Now coming to the results, the variation of factor of safety with KH is nothing but the horizontal acceleration, seismic acceleration coefficient. For a slope with vertical micropiles is presented in the following figure, and it can be seen that the factor of safety decreases significantly with an increase in the magnitude of the acceleration, which is quite obvious, because as seismic acceleration increases, your factor of safety should go down and it decreases. And you can see that it is getting affected significantly. Now, we have put two limiting conditions like seismic factor of safety limiting values and static factor of safety limiting values. And these two values are taken from FHWA, that is Federal Highway Organization, as per their proposal. So we have put that so that it can give you some idea that, okay, so beyond this limit, actually everything is safe under static condition, or everything is said to be safe. However, under seismic condition, you can still go a little below, and this is the limit for the seismic condition. So to give you some kind of reference. So this is for different values of phi. This is also for different values of phi, but we are having different values of seismic acceleration. Now coming to the variation of factor of safety with L by H. L is nothing but the length of the micropile, and H, as I told you, this is the height of the slope. And you can, and for different values of phi and theta b. What is theta b? Theta b is the batter angle. That is nothing but the, in case of inclined micropile, theta b will be different. However, when theta b is 0, that means this is the vertical micropile. Okay. And negative theta b means it is the rotation of, or the angle between the micropile axis and the vertical axis is theta b in the clockwise direction. Okay, so this is the meaning of the negative theta b and positive theta b. Anyway, so that is also given in the paper, so you can refer to the paper to get the sign convention for the theta b. So anyway, it can be observed that the factor of safety increases with an increase in the magnitude of L by H ratio, that you can see as L by H increases. That means as the length of the micropile increases, you are getting higher factor of safety. And for different values of phi, it is the difference is significant. However, it is not that much significant in case of theta b, when theta b is rotating in the clockwise direction. That means from the vertical axis, it is rotating in the clockwise direction. That means towards the slope face. At that time, your factor of safety is getting decreased. Okay. However, if it is going towards the top surface, your factor of safety is increasing. That you can see from here. Now, coming to the variation of factor of safety with KH for different values of H by lambda and H by eta. These are two seismic parameters. H we all know by this time, and lambda and eta, basically lambda is nothing but T, capital T into Vp. That is where capital T is the period of shaking and Vp is the primary wave velocity. Similarly, eta is TVS, where T is the period and Vs is the shear wave velocity. Now, basically, H by lambda and H by eta, what do they represent? They represent the time taken by the shear wave and the primary wave to travel from the base to the top of the slope. Okay, so that means if H by lambda increases, that means time taken by the waves to reach from the base to the top surface of the slope is more. That is the meaning of increment in the H by lambda and H by eta. Now, it can be observed that the factor of safety increases with an increase in the magnitude of H by lambda and H by eta, right? So, factor of safety increases with increment of H by lambda. That means if the seismic waves travel faster, your factor of safety goes down. If it takes a little bit more time to reach to the top surface, so in that condition, your factor of safety increases. Now, coming to the variation of factor of safety with the slope angle, okay, and here also the trend is very similar as already other researchers have already obtained. But however, we quantified that thing. So as your slope angle increases, that means as the slope is becoming stiffer, your factor of safety decreases, which is quite obvious actually. This is the obvious observation, but we quantified the value that how much decrement or how much enhancement is happening with the variation of the slope, and of course with the use of micropile. Now coming to the next result part, that is the variation of factor of safety for different values of amplification factor. That means FA. Okay, so here we can see that factor of safety decreases with an increase in the magnitude of FA. that you can see. So FA is 1, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, because this amplification factor depends on so many factors, right? Ground condition, soil condition, and type of shaking, everything, right? So anyway, but we have only chosen the coefficient. So we didn't, these values have not been selected from some site-specific case, okay? Anyway, so as we can see that as FA increases, your factor of safety decreases. Now again, coming to the batter angle, here you can see that as your batter angle increases, that means from negative to positive it is going, your factor of safety decreases. That means if the inclined micropile coming near to the top surface to the slope surface, your factor of safety is decreasing. So initially it remains almost constant, and then now this is a variation of factor of safety for different values of micropile diameter. And of course, I can tell you, we didn't assume the inertia force of the micropile. So therefore, we restricted only in between 0.23 to 0.27 of the diameter of the micropiles. We can go little higher diameter of the micropile, but in that case, we cannot ignore the inertia force of the micropile itself. So that's why we restricted here. So we are working on this to include the inertia force of the micropile in the analysis in the future studies. So anyway, here you can see as diameter increases, your factor of safety increases. Now coming to the comparison, of course, we need to compare, but unfortunately, we didn't get the proper comparison with the micropile reinforced slope under seismic condition. And that actually restricted us to compare our present results without micropile. And of course, we compared with the very basic and conventional seismic analysis, that is pseudostatic analysis. And here we compared with Chaudhary et al. 2007, and we can see that the present results is found to be little higher. It is giving little higher factor of safety than the Chaudhary et al. Because we all know that pseudostatic gives the conservative results and hence safe results, of course. But this will be always giving you the conservative side. So that is getting reflected from this figure, and this is the values for, or the variation of the factor of safety for different values of say phi, but under static. Now coming to the summary part. So I am not going to say conclusion because the work is still going on. So we are not in a position to tell about the final conclusions of the work. But anyway, so we can summarize our work, whatever we have presented just now. So the factor of safety for a slope reinforced with micropiles decreases with an increase in the magnitude of KH and KV. The factor of safety for a slope reinforced with micropiles increases with an increase in the length of micropiles. The magnitude of factor of safety decreases with an increase in FA, that is amplification factor, but increases with an increase in h by lambda and h by eta. That means time taken by the waves to travel from the base of the slope to the top of the slope. Under both static and seismic condition, an increase in the diameter of micropiles from 0.23 meter to 0.27 meter results around 3% higher factor of safety. Under the seismic condition, inclined micropiles are found to be more effective than vertical micropiles. That already we have observed. The factor of safety generally decreases with an increase in the batter angle of micropiles. We observed that thing. The factor of safety for a slope reinforced with micropiles is found to be conservative for the pseudostatic approach compared to the original pseudodynamic approach. Now I acknowledge the work was done by our previous MTech student, Mr. Surya Kumar Pandey, and in collaboration with my colleague, Professor S. Rajesh. Now, thank you very much for your questions, listening. So, is there any question?
Thank you, Professor Ghosh. Yeah, it was indeed a very nice presentation.
Professor Ghosh, very interesting presentation. But in all these cases, it appears, what is the saturation condition of any saturation or wetting due to rainfall or anything?
Yeah, so we, at this moment, we didn't consider any water actually. Water soil interaction we didn't consider. So if we consider that thing, we need to obtain the excess pore water pressure, all those things will be coming or will be disturbing the stability, of course. So that we didn't consider at this moment. So that is another assumption that we, I mean, in this particular slope, we considered everything is in the dry condition and there is no interaction of water at this moment. However, I mean, that is another say scope of study. I mean, we can include water and we can see how pore pressure is affecting the stability. Of course, yes.
Yeah, because it is
moment,
very highly.
In this study, we didn't consider.
Yeah, it is highly impossible to maintain them in that condition. Yeah. For a long period of time.
True, true.
So naturally, the factor of safety will be varying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without water, I mean, see, water is, of course, I mean, the part. So there is no other way to avoid the water. Water will be coming and that will be seriously affecting the stability. So, but in this study, we didn't consider. But another thing we didn't consider, which is, if you see this study, we considered only single micropile. That means a line series of micropile in the two-dimensional plane strain, but that is not the actual case in the field. We generally go for several micropiles to stabilize the slope. So that's why I told you. So this is the initial initiation of this work. Maybe we can work more on this part and we can get some improved model to capture this stability. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ghosh, can I have just one small out of interest? So how about the cost component in installation of both inclined and vertical, and about the risk factor in the actual conditions? Cost components, like the feasibility, economical feasibility, is there any cost component involved? Like
cost.
Difference, yeah. Hello?
Yeah, see, generally what people do, micropiles are generally used. I mean, if I can use the micropiles used with one vertical, one batter, generally. So here we consider only, in case of vertical, only vertical, and in case of inclined, only we consider the inclined. But frankly speaking, in practical situation, we generally go for the combination, so that we'll be getting more stability. Because in case of slope stability, what happens, you need more lateral resistance from the micropile. And lateral resistance will be only coming or only enhanced because of your batter micropile. So then only you'll be getting more lateral resistance. So these are the things, I mean, we didn't study at this moment. So, and cost component wise, I think there is, I mean, if your length of micropile is increasing, of course, your cost will be more. But if you increase the diameter of the micropile more, as we have seen already at this moment, we have varied the diameter, but the variation is not coming much. But if we consider more robust micropile, that means the diameter, if it is becoming more, but in that case, we need to consider the inertia force of the micropile itself in the analysis. So then maybe your study will be more affected, or the stability of the slope will be more affected by the inertia force of the micropile itself. Then the diameter effect will be more, visible, or the more effective.
Sir, we got one question. I'll just read out the thing. Like, thanks for the interesting presentation. How do you think the assumption of constant shear modulus influences the results of the current study?
Okay, a very good question actually. Yeah, so frankly speaking, in seismic analysis, shear modulus doesn't remain constant. But, you know, as I told you, from somewhere you have to start. In this seismic approach, pseudodynamic approach, we can vary the shear modulus, and that work has been done by people. Okay, by varying the shear modulus. Even Steedman and Zhang themselves, they did it actually by varying the shear modulus. But if you vary the shear modulus, what will happen? Your analysis will be very complicated. Then you cannot consider the continuum. Then you have to discretize the thing, and you have to consider the variation of the shear modulus itself. It could be exponential variation, it could be linear variation, whatever. But that will complicate your analysis too much. So we are working on that, and that is not that very straightforward analysis, whatever we have discussed just now. it will be a little complicated. But it can be done, and it should be done. It should be done because shear modulus cannot be constant under seismic conditions.
Yes, sir. There is no more questions. So thank you, Professor Ghosh, for such an interesting and nice presentation, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You, sir.
Thanks to all.
Thank you.